Well, hi,
It's nice
Melissa.
to see you.
Nice to see you again. Thank you
Yes.
for your time.
Yep.
So I have a lousy proposition for you. You're probably thinking by now that I am a poor businesswoman who doesn't know how to manage budgets or doesn't know how to run a business properly. You probably even thought that I have lied to you already before in our prior negotiations, which I haven't. Still, I wanted to have this meeting with you tonight and to talk to you because I wanted to bring this opportunity to you and offer it to you before I go to any of the 4 other firms that do the work that you do and give them the money. I really value your expertise. I really enjoyed the work that we did together when we were scoping out the project. And I know that you treated me fairly. I know that you're asking $240,000 for the project as we scoped it out, which is twice as much as what I have in my budget, and that's the reality. But I also know that you've been fair because $240,000 is, as I'm learning, about 15% lower than what the going rate for projects of that kind are. So again, I know you've been fair with me, and I'm trying to be fair with you as well. The matter of the fact is that I have this project on my hand to fix these programs, the computer programs in my company, and I know that I need to get it done. I have $120,000, honestly, hand on my heart, to spend on that, and I will be spending that money. I'll find somebody who will take that money. So again, because I value you, I thought, why don't we meet again and try to look at it together? If there's a way to look at this project in such a way that we both win from this, and we work at a deal where you can have the $120,000 as opposed to going to somebody else. So are you interested at all in having a discussion and looking if we can structure this project in a certain way?
I will say, coming from my end, 240 to 120 is a very big gap. And like you said, you did do your research, and this is well below market rate for this project. And what I would say is the number of hours that I would be spending on this, it is a bit insulting on my end. And I would say that's very frustrating considering the time we did spend scoping it out. I know we had great conversations. And at the end of the day, if I am going to be putting all this time and energy into this project, I do need to make sure that it is worth the opportunity cost of that labor. What I will say is I do understand all companies have budgets. However, I am coming from a tough place right now. And I am very frustrated with the variance right now where we're landing so far.
Okay. So I heard you saying that the offer as it stands right now is insulting to you because it would be a lot of work and you feel like you wouldn't be getting a reward for the work that you would be putting in. And that's also frustrating to keep talking about this. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I understand how you feel.
I appreciate that.
And I feel very similarly. I'm also frustrated that I have found an expert in you, and it seems like we would knock this deal out of park. But the money is what is an issue, as many times it is.
Can I ask you a question quick about the budgets you're referring to?
Yeah.
Is this something that's like budgets within your direct department? Are there other budgets that you could go to if you connected with other managers in the area?
So I don't necessarily have my own budget.
Okay.
And this project is not budgeted from one department. The way that this project is working right now, money-wise, is that since the program is affecting different departments within the company, I've been given a little bit from this department, a little bit from that department, something from the other department, and all these departments that would be impacted. In total comes to $120,000. That's what I have to work with right now. So I heard you also saying that you are coming from the tough place. So there's certain ideas that I have that I could throw on the table to see if we can restructure this project at all. But before I do that, I just really want to understand that you're willing to honestly and genuinely look at it. Because if you really think that this is not gonna go anywhere, then we're just wasting our time. Then we just need to go on with our day. But if you think that there's some sort of opportunity, then I can put my ideas on the table and we can look at them.
I would genuinely like to see your ideas that
Okay.
are on the table.
Perfect. Because if you really want to, if you have a desire to work out and get the $120,000, which would feel like a good enough reward for you, then let's talk about it. So what are your constraints? Like, you know what my constraints are.
Mhm.
I only have 120 from, multiple departments.
Mhm.
What are your constraints?
I think my honest constraints are the ability to take on other projects that could warrant more in reward for me.
Gotcha.
For my service.
I thought about that, and I understand that that's a really honest constraint.
Mhm.
So I was thinking about that. So fortunately for us, my company did not give me a deadline of by when I need to have this done. So I was thinking about that. Is there a time in your business that is considered a slow time? I know that usually consulting firms have a slow time either towards the end of their fiscal year, which a lot of times is calendar year. So around holidays, I know times are kind of tough and you don't start projects. You usually have finished going projects, right? So if we're talking about the slow time, would you think about, hey, this would be kind of like an incremental project that I can take on without impacting my 100% projects that I am happy with?
I think we would have to map out the hours spent, especially considering the fact that if this is a low value project from a monetary standpoint, I think that's directly equivalent to the number of hours that I'm spending working. And the question that I would have is, can we get to the place where we had the project originally scoped with those hours in mind?
Right. So slow season would be a possibility, right?
I think slow season we could lay on the table for now.
Okay. And then another thing that I was thinking about, so in terms of billable hours, another opportunity that maybe we can look at in this project is who is working on this project. So I know that your highly rewarded or highly paid experts are on, much higher rate per hour. So that's where I'm sure the 240 comes in. Do you have any people that are a little bit lower in the rank, but they're promising, like the interns or the younger associates? Usually companies either don't bill for interns or bill at a much, much lower rate. So where I'm going with this, if we're working in the slow season, and if you give most of the work to young associates that need to prove themselves and they just need more experience under their belt, you could charge lower rate for them and they would do like majority of the work. And they would be overseen by the expert people that would charge a higher rate, but would need fewer hours of theirs. So that would give us a flexibility of, hey, maybe instead of $300, we can bill $150.
I appreciate that. I think the challenge on that end becomes we definitely want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward on every project, and especially ensuring that we're giving you guys the best service that we have as well.
Sure.
Because, like we said, if we scope this and it ends up being no good, you guys are directly where you started before, and so we want to make sure that we're bringing our best people to the table as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm comfortable shifting this project to someone that is lower qualified just because of the complexity of the work.
Okay. So then I'm not sure how you're going to take my next suggestion. Another suggestion, because I was anticipating that might not be feasible. I just was thinking for different reasons. Another opportunity that I was thinking, maybe we can involve my people, my department. So I don't have rock stars like you do, but I have people with pulse that can do stuff. And so I was thinking again, if we can restructure the project that some of the work is being done by my internal employees, but the work is being guided, like you do this, and so certain supervision is being done by your people, and certain quality control is being done by your people, so that, you know, your people are not spending time on the busy work, but they're supervising the work that really is critical to the quality of the project. Would that be a possibility?
So with that, would these people helping out with the project, would this be their full-time gig for this time frame?
Yes. If we can work out something that would work for this project, I would make it my personal priority to pick out a few people that would have, you know, 90+% of focus on this particular project. Because obviously my reputation is on this project as well, so I don't want it to flop.
So the other question I have is, right now, you know, we're speaking to a lot of the cost side of the equation, right? And how do we minimize cost? And I think on my end, I want to make sure this project creates value, right? That's the whole point. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
It is supposed to help with our document flow for the company. And so how do we make sure that we're optimizing that and getting something above and beyond where we were before?
Right.
Ideally, that would save time, that would save money. And I think that there is something to be said with the expectation that it does that. Now, with that, what I was wondering is if there is some kind of contingency we could work out where the $120,000 is a base amount, and if we could come to an agreement on what components we would be able to analyze the value of the system, we could then pay that out for the remainder of the year.
Say it again, the $120,000 would be a base.
Correct.
That would cover
my labor and the cost of your company. You said there's not a lot in budget right now.
Right.
However, ideally, the system is creating value for your company, and so ideally that would outweigh as you continue on in your company. So how can we ensure that a small increments of additional income could be distributed once you're able to identify that value?
I'm not sure how that would look in operations, right? Because again, the way that the budget works is, I don't think that the operational departments will see huge incremental savings, financial incremental savings from this financial system or operation system, right? That I could just say, oh, you saved X amount of dollars because of this project, so I want those X amount of dollars because I have to pay the consulting firm. So if I understand correctly, if that's what you're saying, then I'm not agree with that, because I don't think that's realistic. But to that amount, I was thinking that, or to that point, I was thinking that the value of this project is going to be that if you touch the systems right now and you modify them, you know in and out what's in those systems, right? You go in and you individualize them, and we know how technology works. The technology needs to be sustained and maintained and fixed in the future. So where I was thinking is that I know there's going to be future needs for an additional either maintenance or fixes or evaluation or whatnot. And so I would make personally sure that those future needs would be offered to you first, right? If hey, the system is not working properly, we need to fix it. You would be the contractor of choice to go in and say, we need additional work. And, at that time, I think the expectations would be clear that, hey, it's not 50% kind of value of the project that you're working. I mean, and what I'm saying is, like, if the running rate for you to charge $150 per person would be, that's what my company would have to realize, that the future work is at $150 running rate, not the 75.
So I would say my fear there, right, is how can we guarantee that going in now, right?
Yeah.
Like challenge on both of our ends is the fact that it isn't market rate. And so how can it be promised that that is safe then in the budget?
Right.
And is there future budget increases to this area of the company?
Right.
I guess my question for you would be like, why is your company then pursuing this project, right? Like, what is the intention?
Well, the intention is to gain the efficiencies in the company, right? We have this system right now that is not working for us, honestly. We're putting in the order for customer order, and that order is not flowing through the system, and people are not able to maintain it and not able to access it and things like that. So we do need to fix the system as it is right now. It's not really very usable. And so with that in mind, whether you're working or I go find, an individual person who has knowledge in that system, I will hire eventually that person, whomever is willing to work with me on the structure on the project to make it work, to create that additional value, and that additional value will create an additional work. It's just that I cannot put guarantees on that it's going to be within the next 3 months or next 6 months. It's a more open-ended, I know this is how it works, though there's going to be work. I just cannot tell you that it's going to be 45 days from now.
So I would say on my end, obviously this is tough. Do you foresee this efficiency creating opportunity to eliminate certain roles at the company?
Eliminate roles? I don't think so.
Okay.
No, if anything, I think that will create roles, because now that we are having this system, the technology system that requires maintenance, if anything, we'll need to have more people or have a higher quality people, not less of them. So I sense a lot of hesitation with you, and I don't want to strike a deal if you still don't feel good about this deal, because what I'm looking for in this relationship is a long-term relationship, right? I'm not happy to just strike a deal today and to get you in the door and do something if you don't feel happy about it. If you don't feel happy long-term relationship, and and every time we need to talk about it, if there's tension or bad feelings, I don't want to go there. So I guess I'm just gonna ask you if you have any ideas of what would you do if you were in my shoes, if you have some sort of solution that maybe I haven't thought of.
At this point, I would say we need to think of something, right? At the end of the day, I do feel like you would have trouble getting the level of experience if you went elsewhere. I can honestly say we offer the best of the best, and I know that's why we're here today.
Right, and that's why I'm here today too, right? But if I cannot get the best, I'll take the second best. That's the reality of my life.
I would say on my end, I have a family, I have kids I'm raising. My time is very valuable. When you mentioned the time frame allowed for this project, I will say that piqued interest on my end, and I would say that is something I would be willing to explore. The other critical component for me is when we talk about a long-term relationship, is there something contractual that we could build up to ensure that we don't have this issue going forward, and we can prepare for the need for future consultation when the system is up and running. I would be comfortable with 120 if I was able to only work 15 hours per week.
Okay. So obviously we'll have to put a little bit more thinking about what that 15 hours covers, right? Is it just you working? Is it somebody else working part of the time, and we're splitting time here, and what that 15 hours covers? Because ultimately the 120 needs to get to the end of the project, right? It needs to make the systems flow and work together as what the intention is. So I don't think that you working 15 hours a week will fix all of that. So I think that there's gonna have to be, it has to be some sort of combination of you working with other teams, or are they my people, are they your people? Like, I don't know how that would work, but
Mhm.
it seems to me like there would have to be some restructuring.
Mhm.
And by all means, whatever that restructuring we come up, there would be some documents that we would lay down and agree upon, right? Because there's nothing worse than
Yes,
misunderstanding. Hey, I said this and
Yep.
I bought that, and then
for sure.
it just kind of goes.
I would say if your team is able to help us with 2 additional like headcount
Okay.
that's solely focused on this project.
Yep.
I will spend 15 hours a week project management wise, making sure that our vision for this project is being executed.
Project management and quality.
Correct. And
Okay.
quality assurance,
Okay.
certainly.
I think that's promising. And
And a contract for a future engagement. So
Okay.
making sure that this does go beyond the project here.
yes, yep. That's where the long-term relationship comes in.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. I think we can work with that. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Take care.